Hey YouTubers, Christopher Wanamaker here doing a new category topic video of an Army veteran's core virtues, values, and beliefs. So my own personal virtues, values, and beliefs of everything that I have come up with and developed over my past a little over 20 years that I have been an adult. So, ever since I, got out of high school and graduated basic training and AIT through the military, through the Army, getting promoted, going from, a quartermaster supply clerk, more of a follower than a leader, and then becoming, a leader, becoming a supply sergeant, going through WLC, Warrior Leaders Course, in Grafenwehr, Germany, taking many different types of classes through the military, like aircraft load planner, combat life saver a couple times, small arms maintenance a couple times, a couple different computerized property book system, logistical system classes, doing all that kind of stuff, and then traveling around the world. I deployed to Iraq for a year, Afghanistan for a year, Liberia, Africa for 3 months, helping out with the humanitarian mission, Ebola outbreak. Traveling around the world and pretty much doing nearly everything completely on my own, by myself, with very very little help from almost anybody else. Anytime I did get assistance help, a little gift here, a little gift there for birthdays or Christmases from friends or family members. Otherwise, it was, someone gave me a place to crash when I was visiting from out of town or out of state. Give me a ride to or from an airport, or to or from a car rental place. Maybe helping me, pack up if I'm moving, or unpack and download. Never really helping me with like pay my bills and do my chores, and mostly take care of most of my responsibilities. And so with all of that I have done, doing nearly everything, 99% of everything completely by myself and on my own. I have learned things. I have followed like some old school, philosophies, mottos, things that my, parents, grandparents taught me, or what the Army taught me and trained me to do, or that I slowly learned, and to figure out, what's right, what's wrong, what's moral, what's immoral, what's ethical, what's unethical. What over time, as I grew up from young age, teenager, all the way to now, turning 38 just 2 months ago. So a little over 20 years of knowledge and experience, and traveling the world, and being in the military for over 13 years, and 5 years of ride share driving, completing 7,100 fares, and close to a five-star driver for Lyft and Uber, both for over 5 years. 10 semesters of college, 39 classes complete, and got my bachelor's degree in business accounting this past January. Got the diploma, graduating from a university, and not having to pull out any student loans at all, being able to do college, get paid for it, and just keep doing the right thing and keep bettering my life and home and future and finances and everything. Credit score, just recently, my Experian credit score is about 7-8 months. A year ago, it went up to all the way to 838, which 850 is perfect, so close to perfect. And then I started making certain mistakes, and over a couple of months, it dropped down to like 777, and that was like 8 or so months ago. And then I went from that, and I'm all the way back up to 817 again. So it took about 13 to 14 months ago from where I was, drop massively down, then to go back up. So but I'll just keep doing the right thing, keep asking questions, keep learning, talk to people, network, and then you develop, some of your own beliefs and core values and virtues and everything. So I've written down a couple 3x5 cards worth of things that of what did I learn? What are my core values? What are my core beliefs? What are certain mottos and mantras and stuff that I keep telling myself and that I believe, to my core. And then what are some deep beliefs of mine and things like that. So that's what we're going to go into in this video. So the first one, some of them very easy, very quick, and some of them will go into more detailed explanations and personal experiences of mine as well. One of the very first one, hard work keeps a man or woman focused and honest. So by keeping yourself constantly occupied, keeping yourself busy, always having a constant non-stop things to do list, the list never ends. You keep adding on to it and adding on to it and adding on to it. And you have dreams, you have hopes, you have goals. You want to modify things in your home. You go from something simple and cheap, dirt cheap, you got from for free out near a garbage dumpster, but you brought it in, put a little TLC into it, cleaned it up. Maybe you keep it, maybe you sell it. You get things from Goodwill for cheap. Maybe you make improvements upon it. If a piece of furniture that was dirty or needs some nuts and bolt TLC, and everything. I've done that before. I a couple of years ago went into Longview behind the Meatheads barbecue place in Longview, Washington. Don't know if it's still around or not. I found even though it was pink carpeted, comfortable rocking chair. It needed a few nuts and bolts, screws, little TLC to tighten some things, and it was dirty, so I just needed to vacuum it and then shampoo it twice, put some nuts and bolts into it, and it was almost like a brand new chair. So, and so I'm always like, hey, I'm looking for a recliner, but I don't really have the money for it. How can I get one cheap? And, maybe how can I make it better than it was? So I really believe hard work keeps a man or woman, an adult period, keeps them honest, on this focused on a straight and narrow path, helps you to stay out of trouble, helps keep improving yourself, your life, your home, your furniture, your environment, your credit score. Make more money. Do you spend it well? Do you pay off debt faster? All that kind of stuff. As long as you're I love a challenge. I love working hard. I love, constantly keeping myself busy. To the only time where I'm not busy is either I'm sleeping or I'm chilling and watching TV shows and movies. Or I'm out doing some activity of some kind, going to movies or restaurant or something like that. Otherwise, I'm constantly staying busy, constantly have a things to do list. And after, sometimes, like I said, I had a pink chair. Now I don't. I had actually a dark blue reclining chair. Right after the pink chair, and like a year later I sell it for half the price, clean it up and stuff, and then I get the chair that I've always really actually wanted, but it was hard to find. So it's the same process. You start out with what you can afford, and it might be cheap and all that, but you put some heart and soul and get your hands dirty and clean it up and improve upon it, and then maybe you can even sell that, especially with Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp and other ways to sell things. Everything sells eventually. And then, or you can go get things, you dumpster dive and find things, but don't be a hoarder. Don't grab things and, create giant piles. Have a couple things, put some time and energy, clean it up, fix it up, paint it, whatever, and then put it up for sale or trade and to get rid of it. And then, when your stockpile, small little pile of stuff you have that you want to work on and make improvements and make better and then sell it, starts to decrease. You have like one or two left, go get more, So, where there is a will, there is a way to make things happen, make more money, put money away, save up money for a vacation, pay debts off even faster, put money away for emergency savings or retirement. If you need more money to be able to cover rent and utilities and all that, then where there is a will, there is a way. But yes, you might have to do some things. You might have to sacrifice, and you might have to do some things that you don't really want to do, don't like doing, but it pays the bills, it covers the debts. You do what you have to do, So the next thing I would say is, it's very important, especially to me, that I've learned over time, to find a good work-life balance. There are going to be some times, especially with inflation and stuff going through the roof, that you might need more than one job. Or even for you and your partner, or maybe even your teenage kids need to get a job, and everybody needs to bring in some money, and we help each other survive if we're all under the same roof. But it's still good to also figure out that after a while, a year, maybe 2 years max, you need some time for yourself. You need to pamper yourself, because that will energize your heart, soul, mind batteries. And that is important. So one thing I definitely learned while in the military for active duty was for every year you work, you get 30 days paid vacation. That's about 2.5 days of paid vacation for every full month you put in active duty. And normally when we're not deployed and stuff, or out in the field doing some field training, you work Monday through Friday, get off work, and 4 to 7 p.m. on average, and and then you have the weekend off, and then sometimes you have 3-day weekends, 4-day weekends, and all that. So we're not working 24/7 every day. We do that when we deploy, depending on the hostile area, that we might get a half a day or 1 day off. But that's the way we sacrifice. We understand it's the job, and we got to do things that other people don't want to do, didn't volunteer to do. It's really hard. It sucks. There in basic training, there were days I pulled like an over 80-hour day, and I started seeing things after 50. And then there were times in the military that I pulled anywhere from a 30 to a 38 8-hour nonstop go. Don't even get a 5-minute nap. And you constantly have to slap yourself, or push on your eyeballs, or whatever, splash yourself in the face. Do jumping jacks and push-ups and all that. You got to motivate yourself and keep pushing yourself, and then when you're able to go to bed, and like within 5 minutes you're dead tired. So, but it's important to know, hey, there's time to work and push yourself and sacrifice. Probably for a long period, at least probably a solid 12-month, if not even up to a 24-month or somewhere in between, then at one point in time, I need a break. I need to take some time off, whether that's a couple of days, a week, 2 weeks, an entire month, maybe even 6 to 8 weeks, depending on how much vacation time you've saved up. And hopefully, whether it's paid vacation, but not all businesses do that. So do you put away some money off to the side into its own little like vacation account, in order to save up for when you do have time off, you have some money to do some fun stuff. That's pretty important. So you got it. It's great to work hard, but at the same time, you can't burn. You don't want to burn yourself out at the ends of both candles. So otherwise you will collapse, and that causes health problems, mental breaks. So at some point in time, after a long while, really pushing yourself, whether it's a half a day, a week, you got to take a break for yourself. I do the same thing with college. They're like, they'll pay up to a 4-year bachelor's degree. The government would for the GI Bill, using my post 9/11 GI Bill. But the thing is did I do semester after semester after semester after semester nonstop, one after another, with like a couple of weeks to a month in between? No. I did fall semester, and then you got like 3 or 4 weeks off before spring semester starts, and then I never did summer semesters at all, because after 2 semesters back to back, my brain was fried. I was exhausted. It's like 15, 16 weeks altogether for each semester. So you're talking 30, 32 weeks of nonstop, 4 or 5 classes worth of different material and knowledge in your head, and tests and exams and projects and research papers and all that. It's very exhausting. And so after that, 2 semesters in a row, I took an entire summer, which is between 3 to 3.5 months, so 12 to 14 weeks of having off, focusing on something else. If I still want to work hard, I went like rideshare driving, plasma donation, other ways to make money. And I let myself, rest, calm down, focus on something that's easier, but not as exhausting as, studying textbooks, reading chapters, doing research, creating projects, writing papers, doing tests, studying. I got away from that for a little while. I rested myself up. And then after that, I was fully rested for the next fall semester to start. And that helped regenerate my internal batteries and motivate me. So each time you do that within a year to 2 years, and you go and do something meaningful and fun, don't just stay around home watching TV shows and movies, doing a little bit of that's fine. Well, playing nothing but video games, listening to sports. You got to really go out and do something with your life and go do some kind of adventure, even for a day or a couple of days, pampering yourself, a bigger adventure. Hopefully you save some money for it. So I think that's really important. It helps to rejuvenate you and make it where you can push yourself even harder for the next hard push. So it's just like, hey, a rechargeable battery, it runs out of juice eventually, and then you got to put it in a charger, leave it alone for a couple of hours, and let it recharge. Same process. Well, we're just a different form of a battery. So let's see, staying away from drugs, alcohol, pot, partying, clubbing, bar hopping, pretty much everything that can ruin and derail one's life, focus, goals, and relationships, and even hobbies and stuff, and ruin your finances. Luckily, I have made some pretty good choices and decisions in my life. I've made some mistakes too. Nobody's perfect. I'm not a pre-programmed Terminator robot that only does specific programming and specific actions. I'm going to make mistakes. There are going to be times I'm not feeling well. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm stressed out, and I lose my cool. I'm a human being. Unfortunately, I'm not like a Vulcan or who controls his emotions, or Commander Data from Star Trek Next Generation or whatever. Where I'm gonna lose my cool every now and then. So it happens, and hopefully people will forgive you. But I've definitely witnessed, just from my family alone, my older brother has been going through it for the past couple of years. He became a raging liquor alcoholic. Younger brother's a bit of a pothead, and he became a more serious pothead because he lived with my older brother and had to put up with him. And the amount of mental, emotional, psychological abuse, verbal abuse, a little bit of physical abuse, everything that they were putting each other through. With my older brother, it destroyed his mind, his body, his heart, his soul. He has no goals. The prospects of a better future are almost non-existent. His own job, a little over a year ago, let him go. Hasn't been able to find another one. Has been living off either, the rest of his family, what support we can give him, or unemployment. Trying to find, charity, things that can help him pay rent and stuff. It destroyed his mind, his body, his spirit, his soul, nearly every single person that knows him. His own family members barely want anything to do with him anymore because the way he is. One moment he might be fine, and the next moment, it's like a schizophrenic chemical balance in your brain, bipolar nut job. And he has the mentality of your family, your blood. If I'm not doing well, you're supposed to give me everything I want and save me and pay for me and provide for me and feed me and shelter me and all that. And like, why? It's one thing if a natural disaster hit and you need some assistance to get back on your feet. That's one thing, because it's an act of God, Mother Nature, that you had no control over that. Completely different when you completely destroyed your everything in your life, your mind, your body, your relationships, your finances, your networking, your career, everything, all for what? Alcohol and wanting to be right. It's not a good enough reason for us to want to majorly help you and save you. And then when we do, yell, scream at us. It's all our fault. It's everybody else's fault. Belittle everybody, bully and abuse everybody, and make us try to feel guilty when we're not helping him. Like, no, you did it to yourself. So he's like, out of both sides of my family, he's like the 8th generation of, whether it be from alcohol or some kind of drug, substance, or maybe gambling problem or something. Something got its hooks into him My mom was a beer alcoholic, but she's a dry alcoholic now. She gave it up a long while ago. She took on smoking at some point in time and did it in Louisiana when she was bored. When she moved in with me, he's like, no, you're not going to be smoking here. No smoking allowed, and very very little drinking either. So, because that's I want a clean environment. Plus, it's part of the rules of my apartment complex, and I don't want to get kicked out. So, the fact of the matter is that these kind of things. When it comes to drugs and alcohol, my mentality is it's 1% positive because it feels good when you're doing it. 99% negative after effects, actions. Maybe not. You can't control your body movement, fluids flowing, puking, peeing. You can't control what is coming out of your mouth. You open yourself up to be hurt, damage property, to causing an accident, breaking something more easily, drinking, driving, DUIs, drinking and putting up with major moments of rage and emotional moments, embarrassing yourself, fighting with people, starting fights with people, damaging your brain cells, damaging organs, your body, causing an injury, injuring someone else, injuring someone's property or business or home, getting a DUI, which costs you a lot of money, DWI, going to court, saying things that you shouldn't have told anybody, loose lips sink ships, and alcohol and drugs lowers your inhibition. People take advantage of you, rape you. So it's like all these things, is drugs and alcohol really worth doing it? To me, no, it's not. We should go back to the prohibition and make it all, maybe adjust it for 21st century, but if you get caught, what's the punishment and all that kind of stuff, but it's really not worth it. That kind of stuff, gambling. If you're going out gambling like one time a month thing, and you set a budget for yourself, like $500, I lose all 500, I'm done. That kind of thing. Have rules, discipline, patience, and all that, and focus, and don't give up your power. Especially when you do drugs and all that, you're at the mercy of other people. So always stay focused, always stay in control. I think that like drinking, the only time it's really good for it, alcohol should be used for very few things. It should be collecting, trade, bartering in an emergency situation, first aid, using it for cooking with meat products and stuff like bacon, and pretty much used for a celebration purpose of a toast, like a wedding toast. Someone passed away, so remembrance salute toast, a promotion of some kind, drinking at a wedding, something, some sort of major win or birth of a child or something like that. I think that's when it comes like that and doing weed or whatever. It should be only used for celebration or cooking, first aid, and trading or collecting purposes. That's about it. Americans seem to very much love majorly overindulging in pretty much every category, topic, subject. We need to reel ourselves in, not eat so much that we're over 300 pounds. Anything over that's insane. We need to be able to have more discipline and willpower and tell ourselves no. So there's that, and it can truly ruin lives. All drugs and alcohol substances can ruin lives. People don't think highly of you. You disrespect yourself, and that's why other people disrespect you. We don't look up to you. You're more fucked up and flawed because you're constantly drinking or getting high. You don't want to grow up and face the difficulties of the world, and become mentally, emotionally stronger. All that kind of stuff. You're letting your emotions, your worries, your concerns, and your fears to control you and dictate your path and actions. And so, and that's not good. You're not going to become mentally, emotionally stronger if you just give up. And pretty much you're drinking yourself to death or smoking, getting high, whatever it is, doing a drug, needle, inhaling, whatever it is, pill. and you're getting high and all that, you want to lose control because you don't want to face the world and reality and the stresses of it and all that kind of stuff. So you're pretty much, what are you doing really? You're kicking the can further and further and further down the road. Eventually, you can't not going to kick it any longer. It's going to be a dead end, and you're going to have to face it. But you waited so freaking long to deal with it, quick, fast, and in a hurry, that it's going to be 10 times worse, 100 times worse, 1,000 times worse every single day that you ignore it and avoid it and run away from it, stick your head in the sand. You're just making it worse and worse. What are you pretty much doing? You're turning a tiny little problem situation, like a little firecracker worth, and then every day it's doing this. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and eventually it's going to be a megaton nuclear warhead blowing up in your face because you're not willing to deal with it, face it, overcome it, and conquer it. So, which kind of goes into the next thing I'm going into. The only thing to fear is fear itself. Fear is meant to be faced, dealt with, overcome, and conquered in order to what? How does one become mentally and emotionally stronger slowly over time? How do we get smarter? How do we get stronger? How do we level up each and every day and become smarter, more mature, more responsible, and wiser? By pretty much facing, dealing with, overcoming, and conquering difficulty, challenges, hardship, obstacles, and every form and level of conflict. And how frequently? Every damn day. That's how you become mentally, emotionally stronger. So as you get older. Another thing would be to have and create a well-oiled machine for any department, business, or any subject topic within your life. One needs to create a solid foundation and set up, and to be able to set it up really, really well, or otherwise everything will crumble. So it's that old thought process and saying, if you don't create a solid foundation and you just build the walls and the roof and all that, eventually your house of cards is going to crumble. In order to create a solid home with walls and roof and windows and doors and all that, you can't just have those things. You have to create a solid, sturdy foundation. That kind of goes along with, do things right the first time, or don't bother doing them at all. And it also goes in with leave your environment better than you found it. If you make a mess, then it's your responsibility to clean it up. So to give a great example of this, pretty much every time, when I first became a supply sergeant at Fort Lewis, with a field artillery battery, and I got promoted May 1st of 2008. I took over for two supply clerks who were acting supply sergeants, the both E4 specialist rank, and one of them was getting out of the Army, ETSing, and one was moving on to a different duty station, PCSing. And pretty much they definitely did not do the right thing. When I got in there and dug into it and where are we at, what are we good on, what are we bad on, what needs to be fixed and created and all that, it was quite a mess. Pretty much after a couple of months of cleaning and organizing and trying to get everything set up and doing a what we call CSDP, Command Supply Discipline Program inspection, to get an idea where we at out of 100%, what percentage are we at? And they did a pre-inspection. We were at a 5% logistical efficiency within my department, within my whole unit. It was bad. And so what I've come to realize is that these supply clerks did everything they possibly could to run, hide, ditch the area, leave the unit, go out and about, chill. It's like they got things done in the most shadiest of ways. They pretty much never did it the right way. They would, pretty much try to take care of, whatever the daily task is, but not really think about tomorrow, next week, next month, and anything that was fucked up before they took over, they did not dig into it and try to clear it up and fix it. They dealt only with the day to day, almost kind of like paycheck to paycheck process. That's all they cared about. They did not, want to fix things in the past, deal with the present, and prepare for a better future and try to create a well-oiled machine environment. I mean, it was so bad that, they didn't have their own, laptop computer system or even the internet in their dungeon basement setup. They weren't what you need to not only conduct proper inventories and of like cyclic sensitive items inventories and everything. So they weren't doing any of that right. And then how would they go get supplies? You're supposed to order them through our logistical system, and then the SSA supply warehouse hub would get those supplies and under our unit name, and and then we would receive them, and then we have to take those receipts, give them a copy, we keep a copy, put it in our filing cabinet, and look up the document number in our system and say, out of the 10 boxes of pins we ordered, we got 5 in. They didn't do anything like that. They, the supply room was almost bare. The lockers, the shelves, it looked like how, when COVID hits, the shelves at the grocery stores were like completely out of like water and the toilet paper and cleaning supplies and stuff. It looked like that. It looked like someone ransacked the place. There was barely anything on the shelves. That's the wrong answer, because what were they actually doing? They were, dodging the unit. They would get supply requests. I need this, and I need this quantity and all that. Take all that information, the supply request rosters. They would go get in their vehicle and drive to all other units around the entire base, talking to other supply people as long as they were there, and try to get a little here, a little there, a little here, a little there, until it filled the quantities or got close to filling the quantities of everything that they asked for. Then come back, download it, and hand it directly to them, and their supply room is still empty. So they were doing the wrong thing. They were, doing some shady crap, doing it, still trying to complete each and every daily task, getting things done, but never really fixing their environments, their departments, their atmosphere. They were building a deck of cards with no foundation underneath them. They didn't want to start from scratch. They didn't want to fix everything that was there to fix. I did. So when I got in there, oh man, I mean, one of the first things I did, I had like 30 boxes of the file boxes with the lids on them. Looked like someone was attacking them. They grabbed it from a filing cabinet, threw it right in the box, and taped it up. I went through paper by paper, separating it by type of form. Was it a suspense rough draft? Was it a posted copy? Broke everything up, year, month, type of form, type of action. Is it still in suspense? Do we have a posted? If we have a posted copy of that document, then why do we still have the suspense rough draft? Throw away the rough draft. And by cleaning and organizing all those boxes in 2 different filing cabinets, not only was it very, very efficient, so I could find information quickly, very effective, very organized, but then I got rid of pretty much about, out of 30 boxes worth of files, I got rid of half the boxes worth of files. It's like, if you have the completed posted copy, why do you still have the suspended rough draft? You don't need both. So, and then when other issues came up, with issues with serial numbers or equipment or who signed for it or whatever, when did we receive it? When did it go into maintenance services? I could quickly, comb through these files and get an answer within several minutes. So, what I did is I pretty much pulled everything out nearly of my supply basement that I took over for, and then I cleaned it up, swept, mopped, wiped everything down, reorganized the furniture, set it up how I want to. Then I put everything back in of what we had, and then I created the filing cabinet of the files, organization of that. Then I created, I got the computer up and running, electricity down there, internet hooked up, test run of a couple items in the system to order, organized our digital files of all of our equipment on our property book, all that kind of stuff. And pretty much, and then I did an inspection, had an inspection, a CSDP, seeing where I'm at, right on the checklist thing of everything I need to get to 100%, talk to the subject matter experts, go talk to other supply people. Do you know what this is? It says I need a memo. Do you have this? What does it look like? Can I get a copy example? I don't know how to fill out this form. Do you know how to fill out this form? Do you have a continuity book? Do you have an example I can go off of? And all this other kind of stuff. I went and talked to people, knocked on doors, I networked, and by doing all of that, after 30 whole months within that field artillery battery, I went from a 5% logistical efficiency to, and a year of that, out of 30 months, 12 months of that was in Baghdad, Iraq, that I had a 95% logistical efficiency. My supply room that we brought back multiple shipping containers, like 40-foot shipping containers, multiple mill vans, I think like 4 of them, worth of brand new supplies, because when we were deployed to Iraq, we had, like unlimited government funding. So I ordered as much, and we took shipping containers that were there, and we brought them back with us, fully filled with supplies. So not only did I have a supply room like overflowing with lockers and shelves and kicker boxes and pallets and stuff, stuffed full my supply room, so it looked like a fully stocked store of some kind, like almost like an office max, filled with all of its supplies and items and products. But then I had the motor pool about another, like right about 3.5 40-foot shipping container mill vans stocked up of supplies from front to back, top to bottom, fully filled. So, and then I left, and they were at a 95% logistical efficiency. Everything was very well. I was now, and there was still a few other things that needed to be done. I didn't have time because I re-enlisted in PCS to Hawaii. That unit in Hawaii, I churned. That unit was both personnel and equipment was double the size of my field artillery unit in Fort Lewis, and they were at a 3% when I took over. And by being there, since I have more knowledge and experience now from my first unit, I churned the 3% in 24 whole months, 12 of those months in eastern Afghanistan. I churned that 3% into the only 100% logistical efficiency in the entire brigade's 86-year history. And I left there by December of 2013. So it was sometime in 2013, several months before that, is when I got multiple medal awards for accomplishing that no one had ever gotten 100% CSDP, Command Supply Discipline Program inspection in the entire brigade's 86-year history. So I pulled everything out, reorganized, put everything back, organized, and kept making everything better and better and better and better. At some point when I hit 100% and still had 9 months in the unit, I'm like, okay, now everything's 100%, it's a well-oiled machine. How can I make anything better? How can I get better gear, better equipment, better process? How can I look at the processes that we use to file things, to order things, the different types of products we order? I'm going to write it all out step by step of this is the process of how you do something. Can I improve upon it? How can I make it better? And I came up with a couple of different creative ideas, created some unique memos for a unique type of ordering, a better process where I cut out certain old processes. And by doing that, now, unfortunately, my unit chain of command wouldn't list me, and battalion wouldn't, and brigade wouldn't, but like a logistical sergeant major at division heard me, got with my PBO at brigade, and I want you to listen to him. And I think, does his ideas have merit? Could this really improve our ordering process and cut back on costs and our waitlisting time and all that? And they're like, yeah, it really can. So, okay, hey, we need to get all the supply people within our under our division, from every brigade, from every battalion, from every unit, and have a class with him. And this supply sergeant needs to have examples of these memos and new forms put everything on digits, on CDRWs, create multiple things, give him numbers of how many units are coming, how many supply people, and he's going to give it to every type of unit. And by doing that within 1 year, my process cut down on spending costs and everything, and it saved the government $300 million in 1 year. So, like I said, always keeping yourself busy. Hard work keeps a man honest. You should be asking yourself nonstop, how can I better my life? How can I better my home? How can I better my vehicle, my furniture, my environment, whether it's home environment, work environment, vehicle environment? How can I better my finances? How can I better my credit score? How can I better my future? How can I better my finances? Which is a big thing. How can I better my furniture? How can I go from old up stuff and increase it to switching things out? How can I save money or make more money off to the side? Plasma donation, rideshare driving, Uber Eats, DoorDash, whatever. How can I find these ways? Calling up and fine-tuning your utility bills every now and then, trying to cut down on costs. All that stuff is important, and if you keep asking yourself questions and telling yourself and make it like a model mantra, how do I better my life? How do I better my future? How do I better my finances? That's really important. But always, trying to you come into a situation, you should care and have passion and motivation to, like, I don't want to be in this horrible, inefficient, disgusting pigsty, hoarder home, office environment, and just be doing the bare minimum and not pushing myself. If that's where you're going to be, you shouldn't be there, period. That's a core belief of mine. So you want to go in there and, like, I want to make this better. I want to make this more effective, more efficient, faster, well-oiled machine. I want to go from nothing to perfection as best as possible and as fast as possible. But it will take time. It's not instantaneous. You have to understand that and be patient with yourself, especially if you're working on it. So, the do things right the first time, or don't bother doing them at all. That's pretty much integrity. Do the right thing even when no one's watching, kind of thing. I just answered that. Not only how can you make your life and environment better, but how can you pay off debts faster as well, which helps your life and future. Lead by example and get your hands dirty. I did get in trouble one time. I was really close, unfortunately, like a year away from getting my third good conduct medal, which you get after every 3 years, 36 months of not getting in any kind of major trouble. No Article 15s of any kind or anything, DUIs or whatever, no fights, no UCMJ action of any kind, getting like a little negative counseling statement saying that, hey, you haven't been doing so great lately. You need to pull your head out of your butt and get more motivated and try harder, kind of thing. That's fine. But I got an Article 15 when I was a year away from my third good conduct medal because I stood up to a negative E7 Sergeant First Class who was very angry, hostile, negative, spiteful, and he went after my supply clerks and was punishing them when I was in the local area. And that's what we learn in like Warrior Leaders course, leadership classes. That's a big no-no, and yet he did it anyway. So when I found out and saw it, I got in between me and him, told my soldiers to get up off the floor doing push-ups and crunches or sit-ups or whatever they were doing, being smoked by this Sergeant First Class. And I'm like, what the hell do you think you're doing? Not only that, we were in a civilian, what we call AFES clothing store with civilian employees around us. And that's another big no-no. So not only do you keep it internal when you're punishing soldiers who are out of line, smoking them is what we call it, but at the same time, you don't do it when their squad leader NCO is in the area, and you don't do it in front of other civilians as well who aren't in the military, don't quite understand, and they see that as like abuse and stuff. So Um, but he did it anyway. So I got in between. Me and my soldiers told them to recover, go to the front of the store at the cash register and help put out the logistical fires that were constantly happening. We came back from Africa, and to calm the American public in the area, so to know that we're not gonna nobody's going to get infected with Ebola when we came back from the humanitarian mission to Liberia, Africa, helping out with the Ebola outbreak. They forced us to turn in all of our old uniforms, both camouflage and PT uniforms, and destroy them, incinerate them, and get kind of like travel vouchers, but clothing vouchers, hand them to soldiers, and then go to the clothing store and get issued brand new uniforms that the government would pay for. But we really didn't need to do that, because if you're not around anybody with Ebola and transmitting fluids, then there's no way in hell you get it. So the government did it to calm the local American people and communities when we wasted government money and didn't need to do it. It was dumb. But just to make the American public communities happier, feel safer, and it was just a waste of time and energy. But by doing that, I got in trouble because that event happened with the sergeant first class, but I did the right thing. Even my own first sergeant said so, and he just wishes that sergeant first class would have kept it within the NCO ranks, the sergeant ranks, and he said if he wouldn't have gone to officers, to my company commander, a captain, and all that. Plus, she was brand spanking new, just took over. Then he would have either just punished him because he was the instigator who did the wrong thing multiple different ways, or he would have punished me and him because he was the instigator, but I lost my cool. And when he walked away, I flipped him off, gave him the bird, the middle finger, and somebody else who knew him saw it and texted him and let him know. And he comes back even more angry and pissed off, and pretty much tells me, Sergeant Wanamaker, go to parade rest. Don't even look and blink and talk. Your ass is grass. Your career is mine. You're done. You're over with. You want to disrespect me behind my back? I'm never going to allow that, kind of crap. And I kind of wanted to grab a coffee mug and throw it in the back of his head, in my personal opinion, but because he did the wrong thing. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? I'm right out front of this clothing store. I'm not far away, so their squad leader is nearby, their supply sergeant is nearby. You should have come and said, you have a problem with supply for some reason, come to me and have me deal with it, But you attacked my soldiers for no damn good reason, and you punished them in front of civilian employees, and everybody knows that is the wrong thing to do. But yet, I'm the bad guy. So I was the only one who got in trouble. I got an Article 15, and I had to do, I think it was 2 whole weeks worth of extra duty watch for lower ranking soldiers who got in trouble. The first 1 or 2 days, it was 2 soldiers I got to watch, and then by the third day it was 14. And one thing that I definitely did, and they even told me near the end, is they wish they had better leadership within their unit, and they had better NCOs like me. Because I was like, guys, none of us want to be here. We're all being punished for something or other stupid that we did. We got in trouble for it. So whether you're here, you're doing this for 2 weeks, you're doing it for a month, you're doing it for 90 days, whatever it is, as long as I'm here, the one thing I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to be the kind of leader, the boss, which is not a leader, and be like, hey, you, soldier, we're going to do a police call. There's a cigarette butt right by my foot. Come pick it up and throw it in a garbage bag. I'm like, are my hands dirty? I mean, are my hands broken? Why can't I get down? Yes, I'm supposed to watch them and observe them, but I should getting my hands dirty by leading by example. If they're pulling weeds, I'm pulling weeds. If they're picking up garbage, I'm going around picking up garbage. Now, there's a lot of them, 14 of them, so I have to go, switch off to different areas if I broke them off to do different things, and some of them try to, run away, hide, dodge you, hide in a cleaning closet, a bathroom, stall, or whatever. 1 or 2 always did that. But overall, because I got my hands dirty and sweat with them, and they were more adamant about pushing themselves. And depending on who the platoon sergeant, the NCO IC platoon sergeant at battalion was, if we did everything on the list that needed to be done, we did a really good job, they really liked it, we could get off multiple hours earlier. So I was like, guys, let's push it, and it's not a guarantee, but it could happen. And most of the time, 90% of the time, it did. And so multiple soldiers hit me up at the end and like, I wish you were my supply sergeant. I wish you were my NCO squad leader. Because we had more NCOs like you, leading by example, getting your hands dirty, doing the same thing that us private grunts are doing, that we would respect and admire those leaders more. And we know that you're in the suck with us. And so we wouldn't lash out and do so many stupid things like we do. So thank you. That was a really good feeling. One second, I need to take a drink. Okay. So that's what I mean by lead by example. And great video to watch on leadership, the difference between being a boss and being a leader. Motivational speaker on YouTube. His channel is known as Prince EA. He has done some incredible different topic subject videos. To me, he's like the new generation Martin Luther King Jr. speaker. Some of his best, most popular were I Sued the School District and What is School For? But, he even has some other really great topics, and one of them is bosses versus leaders. And I think in like basic training or leadership classes that soldiers go to go from, private specialist to an NCO leader or an officer, they should totally watch that video. Bosses versus leaders, what is the major difference between them? I definitely think if you're a good person and if you like helping people, and I'm not saying constantly, nonstop, don't hurt yourself in order to help others. Don't give up your rent money, utility money, food money in order to help someone else. If you want to be able to help people in bigger ways, a little here, a little there over time, you gotta always make sure you're taken care of. So. Don't sacrifice your grocery bill. Don't sacrifice your rent and utilities. Don't sacrifice, need to have an emergency fund. Don't just give that up and be like, oh, they need it more than I do. You don't know who they are. You don't know, did they cause their own problems? Yeah, they're going through a hard time. I love helping people. So what I'm saying is donate your time and energy to your community, at least on an every now and then basis. But don't hurt yourself and don't give someone everything that you have because, they have less. If you give away everything, then other people benefit and you hurt yourself or even put yourself at risk. That's dumb. That's like, creating the house of cards without a solid foundation. Always make sure you have a solid foundation. All right. Something that a really major core value that really stuck with me was that my parents taught me since I was young. And it was sort of a motto mantra that I always tell myself. Homework comes first, chores come second, all other responsibility comes third, fun comes last. And that has pretty much stayed with me. I started working when I was 12 years old, babysitting in Toledo, Washington. And then at 14, when my older brother was about to turn 16, he, with a written permission, he got a job at the local grocery store, Red Apple in Toledo, Washington, and I took over his lawn mowing job that he created. And I had about a dozen lawns. I lost some, I gained more, I knocked on doors, I networked. And so during the spring and summertime, with how many lawns I was doing, I was making right about $500 a month as a 14-year-old. That's not bad. So, and then, we moved because parents had to file Chapter 13 bankruptcy, and went from Toledo after my freshman year in high school to Longview, changed schools, all that. So I lost my lawns. And everything, and then I went to foster care for about 10 months because the stepfather was abusive, And then just focus on school for a while. About a year later, spring of 2003, I signed up for the Army Reserves and left for basic training 1 week before my junior year in high school got out. So I had to do all my tests and exams and finish projects for all my different classes before everybody else, so I could make it to my basic training date. And then I did that for 10 weeks and graduated on my 18th birthday. Then went home for like 3 days of summer vacation before my senior year started. So, but it's a good motto, so it also makes it where, even when I was in college, I did 10 semesters of college over pretty much about a 6-year period, 5 semesters, then 14 months off working hard as a Lyft full-time rideshare driver in Colorado Springs to save up money to be able to hit a financial goal to be able to move back here to the Northwest and still have plenty of money left over. Then end of summer, near my birthday of August 2020, started next chapter of college, going for my bachelor's for the 6th to the 10th semester, so another 5 semesters. And so, when I was in college, there were certain times that the recreational centers were setting things up, like a getaway ski resort, kayaking, paintballing, mountain biking, hiking, whatever it was. And I would have loved to do, any of those things. But then college schoolwork, responsibilities piled up. And pretty much every now and then, even though I signed up for something, every time I pretty much had to cancel. I didn't waste my life with sports and all that. I wanted to do some recreational things, love getting outdoors, but then at times, hey, homework comes first, chores come second, adult responsibility comes third. When all my responsibilities out of the way and I have some time off and free time, then the fun comes in. But responsibility comes first. So, I definitely, over the past several years, I have learned this. I've learned over time, and it kind of has to deal with other people's opinions of you and your image to other people, which I really don't give a crap about my image towards other people. And it's pretty much, I will do things over time that other people that I'm around, do not like, do not understand, and do not agree with. That is their problem, not mine. I really don't, I don't want to be a dick. I don't want to be an asshole. I don't want to purposely try to hurt people's feelings. But at the same time, I'm going to do what I need to do for myself, for my life, for my finances, for my better future, because no one's doing it for me. So if I do something that other people do not like, understand, or agree with, and it pisses them the hell off, hey, I'm sorry, but if you don't take my apology and you won't let it go and keep harping on me about it, then it's like, there's the door. Don't let it hit you on the ass on the way out. I'm not going to cater to your thoughts and feelings because you're mentally and emotionally weak and fucked up. Whatever your beliefs are, okay, respect your beliefs. They're not my beliefs. You're not going to force your beliefs onto me, and if you don't like it, leave. It's that simple. So, you got to understand that. You got to be okay with that. And then, friends, family members, everything, people change over time. People change their perspectives and their beliefs and realities slowly over time as we get older and older. So some people are going to come into your life and stay, and some people are, we're only staying around for a short period, and they were teaching you a lesson, and then those people will eventually move on and leave you. That's that's the adult world. You got to understand that and not be devastated that my significant other left me, or my family members, my siblings don't want anything to do with me. My parents or grandparents don't want anything to do with me. My oldest friends of 10, 15, 20 years don't want anything to do with me. Things change, That doesn't mean, party and drink and do drugs and drive yourself into a wall or jump off a cliff or whatever because people left you. It happens. You need to learn to be happy and love yourself and be okay being single and alone. So, you don't deserve what you have if you haven't earned it by giving sweat, blood, tears, and getting your hands dirty. So it's pretty much, if you don't give sweat, blood, and tears, even though you want this, even though you want it really bad, even though you desire it, you feel like you deserve it. Well, then what have you done to deserve it? Money doesn't grow on trees. You shouldn't be given food, clothes, shelter. You shouldn't be taken care of. You shouldn't be just handed money. Unless it's an emergency thing like the pandemic and all that, the government helped people and all that. That's a little different. That's kind of their job. But when it comes to overall, the people who carjack people or break into their homes, like, I want your stuff, I want this, I want that, and then I go walk into a Nike store and just take whatever I want and then sell it on the black market on the streets. If you didn't give sweat, blood, and tears to earn the money to get it and then do the proper process and buy it, you don't deserve to have it, no matter how badly you want it. You didn't earn the money, save up the money to get it, so you don't deserve to have it. That's why I say, when it comes to like robbers, thieves, and all that, and you feel threatened or whatever, show them no mercy, because they don't deserve any. So do what you got to do. Definitely, you definitely learn this as an adult. Don't live beyond your means and learn to sacrifice. So, and a lot of veterans do this. That's why, like, when, we bust our butts and everything and put in long hours, and then, when we deploy or something, then we're leaving nearly everything behind. We'll be lucky to bring a couple personal items. It's mainly like a laptop with a hard drive that has, pictures, friends and family members, or what's on our phone or something. We'll be lucky to, and like maybe a kid's teddy bear or something like that. And some basic civilian clothes, just a couple and all that. We have to pretty much give up everything, and all of our personal belongings and our home and our country and our environment is all going in storage, and then we're going without it for like anywhere from like 9 months to 15 months or something. And then we go to a completely different environment and world and culture, and we're being shot at with rockets and mortars. You truly start to believe and feel like, you start to realize what's really, really important to you when everything is, other than one or two or three little items, everything else has been taken away from you, and you can't have it. You don't have a car. You have a military Humvee or LMTV truck, or 5-ton truck or whatever. And you're doing a job, and you're in a hostile environment, and you're eating a lot of MREs. You're not getting gourmet meals. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. And all that kind of stuff. That's why I think that almost every American should mandatory service. If you get out of high school and you're not getting a full ride scholarship to college, or taking over some sort of family business, it should be a 2 to 4 year mandatory service, like a lot of our foreign country allies do, in my opinion, because it would help the younger generation. More discipline, patience, willpower, push yourself, know how to sacrifice, travel around the world, culture, full medical and dental coverage, better pay, living on your own. The training would break them of their immaturity, selfishness, undisciplined selves, being very selfish and undisciplined, and no manners, and all that kind of stuff. So they would whoop the immaturity and stupidity and childishness out of them. Hopefully, some people are very stubborn and hold on to that crap. So, I said this once before, but it's really important, so I'll say it one more time. How do we become mentally, emotionally stronger? By facing, dealing with, overcoming, and conquering difficulty, challenges, hardship, obstacles, and all levels and all forms of conflict every damn day. This is the other thing of facing your fears. The only thing to fear is fear itself, and you need to face it, deal with it, overcome, and conquer it. Is that freedom in this country has never, ever really been free. So if you're willing to, you're the type of person who gave up, you can only handle level 1 conflict. You can't handle level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way to 100. You're just giving up the reins of your life, of being an adult, hard choices, facing in difficulties and stresses and fights and all that, and you're just giving up and caving in and giving up to the person that you're against and fighting against and all that, then you're pretty much you're failing yourself. If you have kids, you're failing your kids. You're just giving up and being mentally, emotionally weak and cowardly and sticking your head in the sand for all of eternity. You're never going to grow up and become your physical age. You're going to act like you're mentally and emotionally 20 to 30 years younger than your actual physical age at all times. So it means that even a 35-year-old can act like they're 5 to 15 at almost every day. I've seen it. So you got to be willing, to, if you don't want to be manipulated, bullied, abused, gaslighted, controlled, told what you can or cannot do as a grown man or woman and everything, then you need to fight for your freedom. You need to fight for what you believe to be right or wrong, ethical, unethical, and it's like the oldest saying: the strong survive, the weak either perish or they get enslaved by someone who is strong. So if you don't want to be bullied and abused, manipulated, controlled, gaslighted, someone threatening suicide or something like that, and you're toyed with and all that, then you need to learn to grow up, have a voice, have a backbone, have a spine, stand up for yourself. And if you stand up for yourself, then hold your ground and never give up and cave in. Fight for yourself, your rights, your voice, your freedom of what you believe to be right and wrong for you and your kids, for your family. Stop cowering in fear. Let's see, what else? Went over that. I just went over that. This is a really important one. This is my experience. First, it was before I went into college, and I learned pretty much the same thing, but I learned it in the military first, taking different government classes, computerized classes, small arms maintenance, combat lifesaver, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of those were like 40 to 80 hour college credit hours worth of for a certain certificate degree or whatever. And I could add it to my transcript when I got into college, but it taught me a little bit what college is really like. Comparing the real world workforce environment to a classroom school environment. And pretty much what it was is one of the biggest things I learned was what you learn in a classroom environment is very different from what you do in the real world, in the workforce. They're not the same. I wish they were, but it's more like what you learn in the classroom, take it with all that information with a grain of salt. You'll use like 1% of everything you learn, and they throw a lot at you. Of what they taught you, like 1% of it, maybe less than 1%, you'll use in the real world. They don't match up. It's not like what you learn in the school environment is exactly what you're going to do in the workforce. No, it's almost completely different. And then don't be the person like when you get a college degree, oh, I was just in college, I just got a degree in this, I know what the hell I'm talking about, I know everything. You people are idiots, you don't know what you're doing, even though everybody else has been here longer than me. This is like my first day, first week, first month, and I'm trying to put my foot down and tell everybody how to do things. Don't be that person. And businesses and companies and all that hate it too. They have said it in like online classes for senior projects, getting an idea of what the workforce world and how they hire and how they interview and what do they look for and what to do and not to do. So what you learn in a classroom environment, you have to understand it's not going to be the same. It's very, very different. And that's also why it's important to care about wanting to get a good grade, but it's like, if you get a B, you get a C, you just get barely a passing grade. Who cares? You did the class, you put in the work, you got some good grades and some bad grades on assignments, tests, quizzes, exams, projects, papers, whatever. It's not the end of the world. That stuff is not going to follow you. And very few companies nowadays or firms or whatever really care about, what was your GPA? They don't really, or what was your exact grade for these exact classes? Most of them is like, did you get the degree? That's all they care about. Do you have a degree? Do you have this, the diploma? Do you have it on your resume? That's all they freaking care about. So, not stressing yourself out thinking, oh, I got to memorize everything from every class and never let it out of my head. No, that's not how the real world works. A lot of places, I even talked to, as a rideshare driver, I talked to a bunch of accountant people because I went for a bachelor's in business accounting and got it this past January. And they're even like, most accountants, someone finds them, throws them in a position, teaches them how to do it. They're doing the accounting job and they never even went to college for it. So, so you got to understand that. Needs are more important than wants. If you didn't earn it, you don't deserve to have it. So, this is one of those things like, people who want, $100,000 wedding, they're not going to marry you. They want a $10,000 wedding ring. I highly recommend watching the episodes on weddings and wedding rings on Adam Ruins Everything, and learn how our pretty much grandparents fell for this, marketing advertisement bullcrap, and how the world and families and weddings and engagements were before marketing stuff on wedding rings, and have to spend 1 to 3 months worth of your salary, and that's what you should have for the ring, and you should be willing to throw down $100,000 or $1 million on a one-day stupid wedding and a dress and all that. It's marketing bull crap is what it is, and you got to be smarter than that. So it's like, and another example of this is my older brother. He had a significant other. They're divorced now. They were together for 8 years, and she came to him one time and like, I'm tired of this. We've been together for 8 years. Put a ring on it. Otherwise, I'm leaving. So she kind of, gave him an ultimatum, which I think is horrible, to marry her or she's gone. And that is seriously wrong. And then they pretty much put themselves both in debt, major debt to get the ring, and then major debt to have a Vegas wedding. If you can't afford it, you don't actually have every dollar saved up, then it's not time to get married. Whether one person is rushing it and wants to get married now, tell them, be patient or fuck off. And there's the door. Don't hit you on the ass on the way out. Don't put yourself in massive debt. Don't ruin your life and your financial future. And most of that money, it should be, you shouldn't be blowing money on the dress, on even the cake. I mean, go to a freaking local grocery store and get a freaking cake, Baskin Robbins or whatever. Make your own cake. Find ways. Go to Subway for the Subway sandwiches for food. Get maybe a bunch of really good high quality home chef meals and have someone cook it up. That's what I'm saying. You don't need to blow so much money and the flower decor and banners and all this other stuff, unless you saved up every dollar, or your family did, or whatever, your parents did, for college or for a wedding or for a car or whatever. If you didn't save up for it and earn it, and then you don't deserve to have it just because you want it. Wants are more important than needs. The needs are not necessities. It's not like food and shelter and air and warmth with clothing. It's not that freaking important. So learn discipline, learn willpower, learn to tell yourself no or resist, have discipline and willpower, and be more realistic to live within your means. And don't let people force you and bully you to. And if they gotta leave, they gotta leave. You gotta learn to love yourself. And they do that. They're showing you how much they actually care about you. So there's that. Moving on. Never stop asking questions. Never stop learning more and more. And then as over time, as you get older and you learn more and more, and you feel like you're a little bit of a subject matter expert, kind of like I do with many different topic areas that I do these YouTube videos for, like finances, credit scores, using credit cards properly, how to make more money off to the side, how to pay off debts faster, emergency preparedness, and for your home and vehicle and all that kind of stuff, and cooking recipes and all that. Share your knowledge with others, anybody who will listen, or on social media platforms. pass it on, and especially if you have kids, and if you know a lot, you made mistakes, you learn from it, you know it inside and out, then share it. It could definitely, save people. That's kind of like all this information this is the kind of stuff I'm mixed in with all my other category videos on YouTube of what schools, whether it be your senior year in high school or in college, there should have been some kind of class like home economics, but with a lot more detail to it for like credits and taxes and paying utility bills and how the real world works currently, and how to change a tire on a car and all that kind of stuff. Budgeting, sticking within a budget, living within your means, and don't live beyond your means. How credit cards and APR interest works, and if you only pay the minimum balance, how does that work with the interest? How do you increase your credit score more and more? How many credit cards should you have if you don't own a business? If you do, how many should you have? How the different levels of credit cards, 1 through 3. Some credit bureaus even have credit unions or whatever have like a level 4. The max credit limits, and then how much of the percentage should you be spending on that, and then how do you pay off a credit card properly, going through all those details, utility bill, life hacks, all that kind of stuff. If you know it's inside and out, share it with your kids, neighbors, friends, family members, anybody who will listen. Pass it on. Let's see. I really believe this is a great motto. There's like 2 of these to sort of go together. Actually, the next 3 things go together. We are not given a good life or a bad life. We are given a life, and it's up to us to make it good or bad. On top of that, we are all responsible, especially once we hit adulthood, for our own actions, decisions, and destinies. So if we want a better life, it's up to us, no one else, to make it a better life. If you hate your life and environment, what are you going to do about it? Stop talking about it and take action. Stop letting fear, the only thing to fear is fear itself. Stop letting fear, hold you down, hold you back, and be like a deer in headlights. Stop letting it hold you in one spot, and stop letting the past also hold you down and hold you back. Be like a flowing river. Keep going forward. Keep going forward. Keep going down river. You're not going to be able to get back to your childhood. You're not going to be able to relive that. You're not going to be able to have a better childhood. Whatever happened in past traumas, you need to kind of get over. You need to let go. It's done. It's over with. Live in the present. Think about the future. Plan for the future. Have goals and tasks for the future. Don't keep living in the past, because the past that's traumatizing you will keep hurting your present, and you will have no good future. So, if you hate your life and environment, what are you going to do about it? Stop talking about it, take action. No one is going to save you or do it for you. If you want a better life, then do something about it and make it happen. Set goals, set tasks, things to do lists. And with that, though, you also have to learn to love yourself. Believe in yourself. Have confidence in yourself. Integrity in yourself. You have to be 100% in love with yourself. You have to put yourself before everybody else until you create a good life, good home, good vehicle, good solid foundation, good budgeting, good finances, 100% debt-free, donating a little charity in some form or another, your time, your energy, little money, food, whatever, every now and then. Last holiday season, my local grocery store, half a block down the road, right around every November, December, they do this thing where they have these paper grocery bags on a table, a small amount of food for $10, and then double the amount that's like noodles and instant Idaho mashed potato bags and oatmeal and green bean cans and all that kind of stuff. $10 worth, $20 worth. Man, I probably almost every week that I went there getting certain little groceries, I probably donated $200 to $300 worth all together to help people. So, and I do believe in karma. Whatever you help other people in your environment, your neighbors, and all that, it comes back to you in some way, shape, or form. It really does. But don't overextend yourself at the same time. Don't give up, 90% of all your money and funds and everything, because then you're going to hurt yourself too. It's great to help people, but don't put yourself in harm. Make sure your home, your foundation is always set up. Then if you have a little extra, help others. And that doesn't always have to be handing them food, or handing them money. It could be other ways. So, almost done. Let's see. Something else that I try to live by, because I am an Army vet, 13 and a quarter years, 3 deployments, 2 war zone deployments, each for a year, and a 3-month humanitarian mission. Got out with an honorable discharge, VA benefits, GI Bill usage, and a 21 grand severance package in 3rd week of September 2016. Went on a 51-day, 10,300-mile, 34-state cross-country road trip. I do believe that traveling the world and gaining more knowledge and understanding of the world and different cultures and environments and foods and atmospheres and all that is very, very important, and it helps you to grow and evolve and become more mature, more responsible, more understanding of people and our environment and animals and Mother Nature and all that. So it opens up and broadens your horizon. So does also music as well, as a variety of music, not just focus on one or two genres, but get look into little and listen to a little bit of all. Try new things. I mean, even if you're not into the ballet, try it one time. Try the opera one time. Try a Broadway show one time. Try a symphony orchestra. Always try something at least once. Keep an open mind to that. So, but being an Army veteran, I definitely live by the 7 Army values as best as I possibly can. But like I said, I'm human. I'm not perfect. So, and what are the 7 Army values? Loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. And if you stack those on top of one another, it's LDR ship is like the acronym. It creates leadership. You live by that, and then you're, a better leader. A good leader. And the funny thing is I have a metal poster on my wall behind the phone here, and it's the 7 virtues of Bushido. 6 of the 7 Army values and the Japanese warrior code are the same. There's only one of them that's different. The most important to me, though, out of all 7 Army values, is the definition of respect. Treat others as you want to be treated. So, and to me, I interpret that as equalness and fairness across the board. Eye for a fucking eye. What you dish and serve to others is exactly what you deserve to get dished and served in return. So when other people do you wrong or right, that's what you should do to them, because they're showing you how they want you to treat them. So if they're there for you, you're there for them. They give to you, you give back. They're there for a hard time that you're having, then you be there for them when they need you. If they're there for birthdays and Christmas and give to you, then you give back. But also, what do they give you? Do they pay attention to your likes, interests, tastes, dislikes, hobbies? Did they get you absolute garbage? If they gave you garbage, you need to give them garbage, so they know how it feels. If so, whether it's positive or negative, yin or yang, the scales of equalness and balance need to balance out as close to perfect balance as possible. So if they hurt you, you hurt them. They lie to you, you lie to them. They betray you, you betray them. They are dishonest to you, you're dishonest to them. If they use you, you use them. If they betray you, you betray them. They take a swing at you, maybe you give them the first shot for free. They take another swing, lay them out. They steal from you. If the opportunity presents itself, steal from them. Equalness and fairness. Don't let them do the disrespect you by double standard. Oh, I can hurt you and steal from you and belittle you. You can't do it to me. Bull fucking crap. And that's where the whole face your fears, face it, deal with it, overcome it, conquer it, fight back, push back, and fight for your rights, your voice, and freedom. Because freedom has never been free in this country. You have to give sweat, blood, tears, and you have to be willing to sacrifice up to your living, breathing life to fight for that freedom. If you're not willing to, you don't deserve that freedom. So that's a core value of mine. I try to live by these Army values, but like I said, I'm human. I make mistakes. Sometimes I'm ill, I don't feel well, I'm exhausted, I'm stressed, our emotions get the best of us, and you screw up and make mistakes, but you shouldn't be like crucified and labeled as a monster because out of like a 15-year friendship or whatever, you made one medium to large size mistake, and like, okay, leave them alone, stay away from them, ignore them for like no more than 6 months, then come to the table, act like you're an actual age and adult, and sit down and talk and work things out. If before that event you guys were amazing close friends and family members, let's sit down and work it out. Communication, honest, meaningful communication can clear up a lot of problems and issues, but you have to face each other. Stop being scared and worrying about, what if this, what if that, what if he says this, what if he does that. Who cares about all the multi-universe what if possibilities? Face it, deal with it, overcome it, and conquer it. Give each other clarity, answers, and positive closure, and then let it go and get the hell over it and move on. Grow up. Stop acting like you're mentally, emotionally 20 to 30 years younger and cowering in fear because you don't want to face the hard conversation. Wah. Grow up. Last couple things are major core beliefs. What are my core beliefs when it comes to religion? Pretty much, I do believe in God. I do pray to Him every now and then. I believe that as long as you, are good you pray to Him, you believe in Him, you help other living creatures on this earth, animals or the plants or people, do as much good as you can, but at the same time, I don't really believe in any of the actual religions because it's like, okay, which one's right? Which one's wrong? Last time I checked on Google, there's over 4,300 different religions on the planet. So it's like, which one's right? Which one's wrong? Which one's more accurate to what is right? Who freaking knows? So, except for God Himself. So, I think religion, it's created way back in the day, is one of the oldest, most powerful forms of mental brainwash slavery that gets people in line and controls our society. It brings a lot of people, anybody who's willing to follow them, follow the rules and listen to the elders or whatever, then, you're good. Everybody else is evil and bad, and it's like, I think that's bullcrap. So, and so that's why I look at most religions as a cult. I can respect them, like Hinduism or Christianity or whatever. I just would never take part in them. I did when I was younger, and then I got away from it. I think the only people that really need religion are the people who are completely lost in this world and don't have any hopes, dreams, goals, or purpose anymore. And then maybe they surrender, and religion and God helps them find their way. But when they find their way again, then they shouldn't, they should let it go and move on and be more normal again. Or either that, or for the people who want to completely devote themselves, like nuns or monks or whatever, to that religion. I think those are the only two forms that really should be following it. So you need to learn to be stronger and smarter and have ideas and purpose and think for yourself and not let other people. It's kind of like on the Young Sheldon TV show, the mother and all that, because their oldest son lied about his age, got a woman named Mindy pregnant, a news reporter person. He was an adult, but he was he was a 17, like 17 and a half or whatever. So, and then whispers started spreading around, and everybody at the church that the mother knew started talking behind their back and not wanting anything to do with them. Well, that's that's horrible. And they might as well be racist. So how people churn their backs all because someone makes a mistake or two is unbelievable. It's like, well, that's not very religion and loving and kind and forgiving and all of that. So most religious people, to me, are hypocrites. So I definitely believe this. Something my mom taught me and all that, and especially when it comes to like people who are good looking, but and women who are beautiful and all that, and people tell them all the time, use all your talents, strengths, and abilities for your life for benefits and survival. If you have good looks, or you have a special talent or ability, artwork or mathematics or whatever, use everything to your advantage that can benefit your life and your future, finances, better life, better vehicle, better home, better environment, better benefits. If that means you got to show off what you got, wear hot, sexy, skimpy things at work or whatever, or modeling or whatever. Like, kind of like, what Twin Peaks restaurants, Hooters, for example. Do people really go for the food? No, they're going for a show. Bikini baristas, for example, OnlyFans. If it can benefit you, but you also have to, I think that a lot of people don't realize, oh yeah, I can do this. I'm hot and sexy. I'm popular and all. They're not actually thinking about any of the negative downfalls. There's positives and negatives to everything. Truly is. So what are the benefits, but what are the negatives? Are there more positives than negatives? And then how could it affect my future down the line with friends, family members, having kids, or even future job opportunities as well, getting another job. I've seen stories online where people, you hear it all the time with like how some like teachers, some good looking, beautiful women teachers, are creating an OnlyFans account or whatever, and then they get fired from their job. I think that's completely fucked up. That's their own personal business. So I believe using every skill, talent, and ability you have to better your life and environment and future and finances, and you should not feel guilty, but you do got to consider the positives, the negatives. Are there more positives than negatives, and how could it possibly affect your the later on future of what people say and think, and then do you care about what they say or think? If you don't, then excellent. Fully do you do you. Do what you need to do for yourself. Screw other people's thoughts, feelings, and opinions of you. Let them talk shit all they want. As long as you got your shit straight and you're paying your bills and you're buying food and you have shelter and you have warmth and you have a good running car and you got a job, screw other people's thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Most of our personal belief of mine, most of our personal problems, issues, and hardships that we face on almost a daily basis, 98% of it is pretty much caused by us, piss poor choices, actions. We didn't stay up late enough. We didn't push ourselves hard enough. So like 2% is not your fault. Act of God, Mother Nature. You can't predict everything, but yeah, most of our own problems, issues, hardships, stresses is created by our own piss poor choices, actions, decisions, or even the type of people that we allow in our lives and surround ourselves with. And it was a thing comes to mind from one of my English college classes. They had us read this book, and it was very interesting and had some incredible points. As Who Owns the Ice House? I think it was like a less than 100-page book, a little novel. It was based off a true story, and it's back in the day. And there's like these farms and ranches and all that, and black people weren't treated very well. So this one person, it was a family-owned business, and then a younger family member bought it from the older family member whose health was going bad, and they started an ice house business, delivering ice, and all that kind of stuff to different businesses, and they did all that. But then this person grew up more and more, took the money to get books, and then started his own auto repair shop. No one would teach him. He had no education. He taught himself, and then he learned the inside and outside, because most all the cars there were very few models, universal and all that. New cars and new models came out, and he could get the books for that. Made a good business, and he's really good with math. He taught himself math and reading and writing and all that. And then eventually he got a job at a bank, but he had to fight for it. All his friends and family members were pretty much telling him, you're so and so, and you're black and all that. They're not going to give you this banking finance job that you want. You're not going to have much of a better life than what you have now. Totally crushing his hopes and dreams, because they want to keep him isolated. They want to keep him in his safety bubble comfort zone They don't want, like, they don't want this person to go above and beyond and do more than them. Either they don't want to motivate them to go push themselves and to become better than their friends and family members and neighbors. They don't want to see this person. Deep down inside, they want them to succeed, but they don't want to blow their friends and family members and neighbors out of the water, making them look bad. And I'm like, well, that's their problem. That's their perspective. That's their thoughts and feelings. You do you. You focus on you. And so he did. He didn't. He got people's advice and guidance, but he didn't listen. Some people encouraged him though, so he pushed it, and he got a job at a bank and all that, and he was really amazing, and he took on a huge government contract and all this stuff, and did really well. Eventually, he became like a tax accountant for the White House. Pretty amazing story. But if he would have listened to all of his friends and family members and neighbors who put him down and like, you're not going to go anywhere, he wouldn't have, gotten where he was. He wouldn't have had the better life and the better future and the benefits that he busted his butt for and earned. It isn't his fault that he pushed himself and fought, racism and hardship and difficulty. He's been fighting it his whole life. And he just kept, pushing the boulder up the hill and kept pushing and never really gave up. Maybe stopped to take a breath, but kept pushing. And by doing so, he left all of his, people that weren't doing very well or doing okay, friends and family and neighbors, he left them in the dust, pretty much. So, it's up to you. If you want a better life and better future, you got to do something about it, and don't let the people around you talk you down, talk you out of it. You need to love yourself, believe in yourself, and screw everybody else. So, this is, I definitely believe the very simple thing of men and women, in my opinion, are truly equal. Where the men are weak, the women are strong. Where the women are weak, men are strong. I do believe in egalitarian relationships over authoritarian. No one should have like ownership over another, especially when you're a grown-ass man or woman. You shouldn't have to ask your significant other for permission and to wear this, wear that, go here, go there, talk to these people, that person. That's part of the whole believe in yourself, love yourself, don't give up your power and freedom and voice to other people where they take the reins of your life and order you around and treat you like a child. There should be no gender roles and stuff of, a man does this, a woman does that. It's old fashioned, past bull crap, closed-minded way of thinking. We need to get away from that and treat each other like true friends, family member, partners. Kind of like my dream idol couple. I would love to meet them and hang out with them for a day or two and learn from them. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Even though Blake Lively is amazing, gorgeous, and incredible, and I even did a astrology thing of matching yourself, your astrology thing of being a Virgo with other celebrities and how accurate, what's the percentage of compatibility and what would you have in common and all that. And I looked that up online, and I was putting in lots of different female celebrities, and like 50%, 60%, 80%, 90%. Me and Blake Lively were 140%. I found that like incredibly funny and amazing. I think we have a lot in common, but I would never want to come in between, like, say, her and Ryan Reynolds. They're both incredible people. They have incredible relationship dynamic. I would never want to do anything to damage that. I want something like what they have, and that's what I've been single my entire adult life, waiting for the right person to come along that really is my true equal. And so I'm 100%, they're 100%. We believe in ourselves. We have dreams and goals and push ourselves, and we're good with finances, and we'll have a good future, and we love adventure, and we're not huge drinkers and partiers and all that, and we come together and we're 200%. And if we fall apart, then we break up, and then 100. Well, I'm still 100%, she's still 100%. That's what I truly believe is the perfect thing. And if you gotta wait, a year to freaking 50 years to find that person, then wait. It's better than marriage and divorce and them taking half or 90% of everything and losing everything and all that kind of stuff. So waiting for the right person who fits your standards, having standards, and not lowering them will save you in the long run. It's even affecting my older brother. of them getting a divorce, and then he wanted to go back into college, and he can't get major grants and scholarships because of the combined income from being married, and then the following year for taxes, he had to spend a lot of money because of marriage, combined taxes and all that kind of stuff. Had to pay out more to the government. So definitely a lot of downsides to that kind of a contract too. So I always say always get a prenup. Is the major thing to protect yourself, your finances, your belongings, your home, your furniture, everything you had before you went into the relationship, and same thing for them. And then update it like once a year. Be a man or woman of your word and never go back on your word, promise, or deals if possible. Don't say one thing and do another. That is my biggest freaking pet peeve in my life. I cannot stand it. I'm not saying that I haven't done it myself. I've lost my cool, or I wasn't feeling well, stressed out beyond belief, and I broke a promise or a deal, or I don't think I've ever broke a deal, but I broke my word not very many times, a couple times, because I'm not perfect. I will make mistakes. I will lose my cool. Maybe I wasn't feeling well. Maybe I was drunk or something, or maybe I had a high fever and I was delirious. It happens, but you shouldn't, crucify me like what I did, compared to like committing murder. I mean, calm your ass down, be realistic, stay away from me for a little while, and then come back to me a couple weeks, couple months later, and let's sit down and talk and work things out. And like I said, communication, two-way adult communication, facing each other, can resolve a lot of problems and issues and concerns. Last thing I would probably go over is what to do after an experience of intense stress, pain, exhaustion, numbness, PTSD, numbness, depression, trauma. And what I've come up with, and I did these very same things with, how did I recover from numbness, depression, PTSD, not extreme forms, but mild forms, from coming back from a year deployment, Baghdad, Iraq, and almost every other day being shot at with rockets and mortars, and same thing with Afghanistan. What did I do? I came up with a process. It's like, hey, it's a problem. Well, every a question has an answer. Every problem or scenario issue has a solution. So be a problem solver. Here's the problem. Here's how I think and feel. What the hell can I do to solve it? So what I came up with is, whether you're numb, depressed, PTSD, whatever it is, any kind of bad feelings, you need to do one of two things. Either one, you need to go on some sort of major thrill-seeking adventure, bungee jumping, skydiving, whitewater rafting, maybe multiple of these things. And by doing so, you're getting an adrenaline rush, whether for a long period, short period, multiple periods, whatever, and it's helping you get your heart pumping like no tomorrow, making you feel alive again, and it will hopefully snap you out of your numbness, depression, and trauma, PTSD. Not everybody is a thrill-seeking and adventurous, so what's the second option? The second option is go on some sort of major adventure, road trip traveling. Go make some sort of big wish or dream come true. A month of road trip traveling, hiking, maybe go do the Pacific Crescent Trail, like Reese Witherspoon did from Southern California all the way up to Canada, BC, Canada. Go on a major journey, a week long, 2 weeks long, a month long. It's completely up to you. How long, where do you go? Maybe your biggest dream was going to Disney World and you went for multiple days and then it snapped you out of it. Maybe it was going to one Hawaiian island or all four of them. Maybe it's going to New Zealand, Ireland, Greenland, Iceland, whatever it is. Get out of your comfort zone. Go do some major trip. Maybe it's a cross-country road trip amongst all of North America or the United States. I did that getting out of the Army. 51-day, 10,300-mile, 34-state cross-country road trip. Spent $12,000 and a couple days roughing it and sleeping in the car or KOA campsite with a bug-out bag. The other half was staying at my 5-star timeshare resort in luxury. balancing it out, roughing it and living in luxury, perfect balance, over a 51-day, 34-state, all four corners of the United States cross-country road trip. So you got to do what you got to do. When I got back from Iraq, first week it was using to get set up and get my car and take care of personal stuff. The next 3 weeks, I went on I think it was 5-state, 5,000-mile West Coast road trip. Fort Lewis, Washington, Portland, Oregon, see a best friend. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, see my aunt and uncle on my dad's side. They have 2 different homes. One in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, then dad and grandmother in Cottonwood, Arizona, near Sedona, and then Southern California in Riverside, where I was born, and visit my same aunt and uncle from the Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. They had 2 different homes at the time, and so Southern California, visited them and went to, Six Flags and Universal Studios 2 days in a row. And then drove like 14-hour straight shot all the way back to my barracks at Fort Lewis. After Afghanistan, had a month off and everything, and took the time to research, and it saved me money and scheduling and coordinating things and finding military discounts and all that. I did a $5,500 2-week vacation going from the island of Oahu to the island of Kauai. Did tons of thrill-seeking adventures. I did 4-wheeling, horseback riding, zip lining, paragliding, which is the paraglider attached to a 3-wheeled vehicle with a propeller on the back and 2 seats. Flew all over the island and stuff. High-end resort, like 2.5-hour massage that actually put me to sleep because I was so relaxed. Souvenirs, restaurants, all that kind of stuff. And I did a $5,500 2-week long, I think it was like 12 days long trip, also with 2 timeshare resorts on the island that I went to. And by doing my homework, I spent only $1,500 because I did my homework before and planned and coordinated and communicated, networked, talked things, and got discounts and all that. So I spent $1,500. If I would have just shown up and did everything, I would have spent $5,500. So I saved myself $4,000 by doing my homework, research, and calling and networking and communicating with people and all that. So it's pretty much, to recover from numbness, depression, all that. Don't get into drugs and alcohol and pot and just sit around and play video games. There's a meme thing that I've seen before. Those who have lost complete purpose in life are those who distract themselves with pleasure. So alcohol, smoking pot, getting high, lots of tobacco, partying, clubbing, bar hopping, doing a lot of stupid, reckless stuff, throwing away your money, pulling out payday loans just to go have fun when you can't afford it, and those things are super high interest rates. You might as well pay them double back of what you borrow, double to triple back. So there's all these things. So it's your life. You're not given a good life or a bad life. You're given a life. It's up to you and your decisions and your actions and your choices that will define, and your habits will define whether you have a good life or a bad life. So make the right choices, snap yourself out of it, pamper yourself a little bit, coordinate those getaway trips, work hard, focus, stay motivated, believe in yourself, love yourself, have confidence in yourself, fight for yourself, you and your kids and stuff, or your family. Fight against bullying and abusing what you believe to be wrong. Don't just cave in and agree with them because they're your significant other. If you believe that they're wrong, tell them they're wrong and stand up for yourself. Even if it ends the relationship, it means it wasn't that strong, wasn't meant to be. Stop lowering your standards or have no standards where you just end up with someone. You need to learn to be okay with yourself, love yourself, believe in yourself, and even that means be okay with being alone. So that is pretty much, I think, everything that I have, core values, virtues, values, and beliefs for me, Christopher Wanamaker, 13-year Army war veteran. Hope you enjoyed this video and topic. If you did, hit like, hit subscribe, make any comments. What was your favorite part? I'm just sharing my knowledge and experience to help other people if I can. So please, make comments. Hopefully they're positive, but if they're not, tell me about them and maybe we can have a little chat. But Have a good holiday season. Stay safe. Make good choices. Believe in yourself. Love yourself, and take care of yourself. All right. Bye.